What is going on, my guardians? Is I, Birdman, back with another hunter build. Today I'm showing off a really awesome setup with a cool exotic that you can use in endgame content, or if you're just feeling like playing around and throwing a lot of knives. But before I get into the video, you can follow me over on YouTube and Twitter at Birdman778. Give a thumbs up on this video, comment something that you're interested in seeing down below, whether it's Hunter, Titan, or Warlock. Subscribe to the channel and become a member. Let's get right on into it. As always, we like to start with what exotic we are going to be featuring in this video, and that's going to be the Ophidia Spaith exotic chest piece. This one reads Scissor Fingers, grants 2 knives per charge. Now, this simply just says that, but a lot of times whenever you're using this setup, you're going to get the opportunity to get those back on a full recharge immediately. It's not like you're having to recharge one knife at a time. It will recharge both those knives for you immediately. So this is a really great chest piece as is, but it feeds a lot into the solar subclass and all the good stuff that we have over there. Within our subclass, obviously when it comes to our super, that's kind of completely up to you. I recommend doing Blade Barrage because it is the shortest cooldown, and with this setup you're going to be able to get your Blade Barrage back a whole hell of a lot and use it a whole hell of a lot. Definitely recommend as soon as you get it, if you feel like there is a wave of enemies in front of you that deserve to get hit with all those knives, go for it. If you want to save it for a boss, go for it, but just know Blade Barrage is totally open for you to use. Obviously when it comes to our abilities in the solar subclass, we have other options for our dodge, but I would still say Gambler's Dodge is the most important one because of the fact that it gives us our melee back. A big part about that is the fact that it's going to give us both the charges of our knife throw, so definitely pick this. For your melee, I recommend the knife trick where you're going to be throwing that fan of flaming knives. This is going to scorch targets and also eventually ignite them. So you're going to get 2 charges of this. Now, you definitely, if you for some reason want to change this up any way that you want, I would recommend the proximity knife would be the next best one, followed by weighted knife, and finally lightweight knife. But the knife trick is the best option because of the fact that it can hit multiple targets. You can hit multiple targets and get them scorched, and also the fact it's just one of the better cooldowns. When it comes to your grenade, I recommend using the healing grenade. This is going to give you that restoration and cure for the battle, and it actually feeds into a lot of the fragments we're going to be using for this setup. So definitely worthwhile. But if for some reason you want to change it up a little bit, I would say the incendiary grenade or the firebolt are going to be your best options because those are going to help you be able to pre-scorch targets so that whenever you use your knife, they are going to ignite. I would probably say if you're doing like super endgame content and you're trying to go against like unstoppables especially, the firebolt grenade can definitely be beneficial for you. When it comes to our aspects, I recommend using knock 'em down and on your mark. First off, with knock 'em down, your solar supers are enhanced so that Blade Barrage is going to get even more projectiles to throw out. And then while you are radiant, final blows with your equipped throwing knife fully refund your melee energy. So that's going to feed into one of the fragments we have and constantly be able to keep up that radiant, and then just getting our knife back on kills. And finally, on your mark, this one's better just to open up that 3rd fragment slot for us, but precision final blows grant you nearby allies increased handling and reload speed for a short duration and stacks 3 times. And then activating our class ability will immediately activate on your mark. So we're going to be dodging around pretty consistently with this setup, so you're going to be always having that increased duration of your handling and your reload speed. Looking at our fragments, first off, Ember of Ashes. You apply more stacks of scores to targets. This is going to be great to do more damage over time, but also just increase those ignitions that we're going to be getting from finally, applying enough scorch stacks to a target that they're going to then explode. Again, we definitely want to make sure we get those ignitions whenever we're going against unstoppables, because that's going to be a great way to stun them. Next is going to be Ember of Solace. That reads Radiant and Restoration. Effects applied to have increased duration. This is essentially going to make sure that whenever we activate that healing grenade on ourselves, or we throw our knives and get that radiant, that we are going to be able to keep that up just a little bit longer. Speaking of, powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant is Ember of Torches. You absolutely need to have this one on because it's going to constantly make sure you have that higher weapon damage, but also the ability to stun barrier champions. Next is Ember of Singeing. Your class ability recharges faster when scorching targets. Now this one's huge just because, again, that dodge is going to be a great way to get us those knife charges back. So absolutely make sure you have this in your constantly scorching so that you're able to get your dodge back faster. And then finally, Ember of Empyrean is a favorite of mine. Solar weapon and ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant effects applied to you. So it's going to make sure that we're just going to keep up those effects as long as humanly possible. Now, do know this is one that you could swap out for maybe increased area of effect of Ember of Eruptions with your ignitions, but completely up to you. Now, when it comes to the weapons, I recommend something like a Monte Carlo could be super beneficial for this setup because of the Monte Carlo method. Dealing damage to this weapon reduces your melee cooldown and grants a chance to fully charge your melee ability with each kill. It also has the Markov chain ability that you get increased damage with melee kills, and melee kills also will refill the magazine. Now, if you get the catalyst slot, you're going to be able to get that nice glaive at the end of the weapon that does huge damage, but also it will refund a bit of your melee energy back. Now, again, I just really like this for the fact that if I run out of my dodge and I run out of knives, I have a great way to get those knives back and get all of that different energy between all my abilities flowing again. If you were to swap out these weapons, I'd probably say put on something like a tractor cannon. Could be really beneficial, especially against champs, so that you get that weaken effect on top of your melee damage, or weapons like a callus mining tool, or just pretty much anything with incandescent, where you're going to be able to apply even more scorch stacks to targets. When it comes to our mods, my hunter is definitely not up to par. I really need to get some more artifice armor for him so I can get some higher stats in here, but obviously resilience is the first thing you need to focus on too, going into discipline, then recovery. But when it comes to mods specifically, I recommend on your helmet using something like a kinetic siphon so that you're able to get orbs of power with your Monte Carlo kills, and definitely put on a hands-on so that you're getting as much super energy as humanly possible on those melee kills, so you're constantly able to then turn around and use your blade barrage as much as you want. When it comes to our gloves, a focusing strike is great to constantly get back our class ability with getting melee attacks. Impact induction, causing damage with your melee, reduces your grenade cooldown so that we're getting that healing grenade back. And then finally, a heavy-handed, so that our powered melee kills are going to give us an orb of power. Even better, again, great way to constantly keep our energy flowing. On the chest piece, I went double concussive dampener and just put on this harmonic resistance just to fill that last spot. Again, this build definitely mildly suffers from some damage reduction and stuff like that, so that's definitely a great one to put on. But if you really feel like it, something like an emergency reinforcement could be definitely beneficial. On our legs, I did a double absolution so that we're getting plenty of ability energy back whenever we pick up an overpower, and then a recuperation to constantly keep that healing going. And finally, on our hunter cloak, I decided to go with a reaper so that whenever we use our class ability, our next weapon final blow gets that orb of power, a bomber so that we're getting our grenade back a little bit faster, and a powerful traction to pull in all those orbs whenever we use our class ability. When it comes to our artifact, we really don't have a whole lot here that is super beneficial to us except for the 4th slot. First off, Elemental Fury. While stunned, champions take bonus damage to your abilities or elemental orbs. Camille pickups. When an ally destroys or picks up your Tangle or elemental orb, the Tangle cooldown is reduced, and you gain bonus damage with weapons matching your subclass for 10 seconds. And refreshing pickups. Picking up a Tangle or elemental orb grants energy to your least powered ability. So just great to constantly keep that energy flowing. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you guys really enjoy it. Again, this is definitely a super fun build to use, especially again, like I mentioned, in-game content. So definitely take it in and enjoy it. But make sure you're following me over on YouTube and Twitter at Birdman778. Like the video, let me know something you're interested in seeing down below. Subscribe and become a member to the channel. Thank you so much. Hope you guys have a great night, day, or whatever it may be.